This is Monsters on the Mic on the Fan 106.5, giving you exclusive insider access to coaches and players for Duluth's Minnesota Monsters football team. Recorded weekly at Lyric Kitchen Bar in downtown Duluth. Now here's your hosts, Brian Prudhomme and Dave Cook.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monsters on the Mic here at Lyric Kitchen Bar in Duluth. Brian Prudhomme, Dave Cook. How we do this, we do a live recording of the show on Wednesday nights here at Lyric Kitchen Bar. It'll air on Thursday night, 7 o'clock. And then again, we are pregame to the pregame. Dave, what's your pleasure? Good evening to you.
How are you? We have the most recent edition of the Monsters played super well. And now we are just geared up and ready to go for the next one.
It'll be fun this Saturday because the Monsters will roll out the red carpet as we roll out the barrels in Amsoil Arena. Kentucky will come to town. Of course, last week was a big week in the sense that Duluth got to welcome this franchise home in the home opener. Now the Nashville Cats kind of ruined things in terms of the scoreboard, but I think it was very good for Duluth to get a taste of what this league is like, to get a taste of what playing this game in Amsoil is going to be like, and essentially go from there.
What did you think of it? You were there. What did you think of the new digs?
I don't know if I had time to think about it because I was one of the busiest people in the building doing the public address that night, but I appreciated the way the arena looked. I also appreciated the way the fans got into it at times. I think Amsoil, I'll issue the personal challenge right now. We can certainly show out in better numbers. We can get a little bit louder. But at the same time, I was pleased with the way Amsoil hosted the game. I think it's the start of good things. Again, the scoreboard we hope will improve this week. But in terms of Amsoil, in terms of the atmosphere that Duluth brought, I liked it, but I know we can do better. Yeah,
for sure we can do better. But there's a little bit of angst. You know, you're playing at home for the first time. You've got your home fans. But, the offense is going to score more points for sure. Remember, and what coach say? 4 stops. You've got to have 4.
Well, and I think the biggest thing from just a fan's perspective or a casual's perspective would have been the most obvious difference between the way the deck was set up for these games with the previous franchise and the way Amsoil sets up, because you still had receivers and players crashing over the wall, crashing over the boards. But to see it go into row 1 into a gentleman or lady in a bucket seat was a little bit different.
Right. Last year it was jump over and land on the round coffee table, the high top coffee table, slide across that, and maybe fall off the other side.
Yeah, the makeshift suites that the deck offered. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now it's a little bit more dangerous for the player and a little less dangerous for, the 9 people around the table that we saw last year get knocked around pretty good.
Yeah, now we can just talk football. We can talk X's and O's. I think to do that, we're going to bring over Antonio Simley for our first guest. I'm going to start with the hard-hitting journalism. And when I first got Antonio's name as part of the starting lineup, it said Antonio Smiley. And I know that's not right. We just had transposed letters. It's Antonio Simley. But let's talk about your demeanor as we welcome you. How smiley of a guy are you? Because you have been since we saw you earlier today.
Nah, for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely a smiley guy. I got a lot of personality to me. I just, being a big guy my whole life, it just kind of be hard sometimes because people be expecting you to be all like macho and everything, but really I'm a gentle giant, man. You feel me? It's just when it come to football, that's when I got to get a little violent.
Yeah, I think it was palpable that you have some fun while you're playing the game, but You said it. Your position kind of encourages violence, as odd as it is to put those 2 words together. But your position defensively is probably one of the busiest because you're essentially part of a linebacking core, so you've got to be adhering to the run but cognizant of the pass. How busy are you in a game that prides itself on pace where you've got to be thinking very quickly?
It definitely takes time to just get used to. For the most part, because at the end of the day, you're trying to worry about so many things on top of calls and like formations and things like that. But being able to understand the game and learn the game, I think that's a lost art in football as a whole. Like, people don't forget to actually learn their sport, learn their game. So I think once you learn your game and learn the ins and outs, like, certain things just become second nature, especially because you in it so much and around it so much, and to be able to play at this type of level, it turns into just everyday knowledge, like everyday things. So it's not that bad for me, especially when I get to go hit people. So
when we're talking about on the grass football where you have a lot more room, you hear the linebackers and the cornerbacks and the safety talk about their read for the play is going to be inside. It's going to be the guards. Could be the tackles, whether they're leaning forward if they're on a 3-point or if they're kind of back on their haunches. What are you looking for in the tight game indoors when you're looking at the play in front of you?
So basically, what I look for, because in the trenches, it's a lot of moving parts. Believe it or not. So at the end of the day, like for me, I look at, okay, what is the team lined up in, and then what could possibly be ran for me, because what they lined up in could tell a lot. Like they can run a lot of different stuff out of a lot of different formations.
Right.
But for the most part, if they're lined up in certain things, you can know, okay, they can't run this, they can't run that, or they can run this, they can run that. So that's just like a quick pre thing that I do, because it's like, okay, if I know they can do X, Y, and Z, I can set myself up to be in this type of position, or I can, cheat this type of alignment, or do this, or things of that nature. So being able to just open up and expand mentally to know, like, okay, certain things can and can't happen within a football game, especially with all the moving parts. I think that helps a lot, especially in an arena where it's like so compact.
And Brian, we've talked about cerebral football players.
Yeah.
I don't think I have to talk any more about who's the cerebral football player. That was a great answer. Yeah.
Well, and I was going to springboard off that because, Antonio, one of the first things you said was you've made it about learning your craft, learning the game. What is the biggest learning curve for you right now in this league? Is it just the speed of it? Because you talked about formationally there can be tells and things you can cheat towards, but at the same time, any player at any level will tell you, I'm still learning, or I'm always learning. What's the biggest learning curve for you right now?
I think the biggest learning curve for me would be understanding, like, okay, there's multiple players that can do multiple things. Like, for example, like in the arena game, you might see a big guy running the ball. But in my head, I'm not thinking about that normally, right, because I'm so busy worried about fighting off blocks, things like that. But then I look up, I fight off a block, and it's a number 78 with, what I'm saying? And he 300 pounds running the ball, and he looked like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, he looked like me. So, if he looked like me running the ball, I'm not thinking about that. Like, so at the end of the day, I feel like that's like understanding, like, okay, you got players who have the ability, and that's another thing. Like, they might look like me, but they're good enough to do these type of things. Or you might see somebody my size playing, linebacker or jack, and you like, dang, like, but they got the ability to do that because they came from places where they just freaks of nature. So I think it's just understanding, like, it's a lot of people and a lot of players that can do multiple things, but then also just like the schemes and understanding, like, what like teams like to run. Like, I know, like, playing certain teams, they like to go short the whole game, and then out of nowhere they go long. Or you got teams that like to go long the whole game, and they don't really worry about short game or run game. So it's just learning that stuff and understanding that stuff has been prevalent to me, because it go by team to team, player to player, and understanding, like, okay, I can't sleep on any player,
right,
team,
right,
concept it all can come out. It all can come out as long as they're executing. They it's willing to come out. So
I want to talk a little bit about what this week has been like, because this monster team coming into this week against Kentucky is 3-2 on the season. Now, lost the opener and then rattled off 3 in a row, and then had some adversity in the home opener. Again, last time we came off a loss, we rattled off 3 wins in a row. I'm all for signing up to do that again. But what's the mindset been like? We hear about mindset. We hear about championship cultures.
A lot.
What has practice been like? What has the attitude been like of, all right, we slipped, but we got to get back on track?
I think it's just understanding that we get another chance to go play football. Understanding, like, okay, we had a chance to win a game. It didn't go our way. Okay, how can we fix it? Because at the end of the day, like, we're going to get in the groove, right? We're going to get in the groove. We're going to win games. That's going to happen. That's just inevitable for us, right? We're the monsters, right? So we going obviously go out there, win games, but the mindset for this week is just to go 1-0. Like, do our jobs, understanding our jobs, everybody doing their jobs. Like, practice has been phenomenal this week. We've had a chance to really dial in, especially on both sides of the ball, but mainly special teams too. So just taking extra time to really hone in on things that we feel like are issue for us, at least in last game, and just come out and be hard hitting, like, and understand, like, in order to be who we say we are, we got to become that. So, and I think we understand that now. We say we the monsters, so that's how we got to act on the field. So
absolutely, we're going to need a monstrous effort to take care of the Barrels here at home. Any coach at any level in the sport of football will tell you if we can win the turnover battle, it's going to get that much easier. Turnovers were certainly a part of the game against Nashville. We committed some, we forced some. We'll talk to Keontay about a highlight in a little while, but how important is it to you to get after the actual football itself?
Oh, for sure. It's one of the biggest things. I mean, we talk about turning the ball over and getting the ball all the time. I mean, because on defense, like we pride ourselves on just being the meanest, nastiest guys possible, because that's the only way we're gonna get the football. I mean, you got like you guys seen it, like we got big, giant dudes trying to hit us too. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, and they trying to protect the guy with the ball. So, but I know from anywhere from me to Claude to anybody else on the field, like, you know, we got the ability, the hunger, and the fight to go and get the quarterback all day. So it's a big pride thing in our room. Like we challenge each other on who can get sacks and strip sacks, force fumbles. So, you know, we do a lot of stuff to where it's like we want the ball. Like you know what I'm saying? Like we want the ball. Like the ball has to come back. But we got a great DB core that can get us the ball back too. So regardless of who gets the ball back, how we get the ball back, it doesn't matter. As long as we fighting and clawing, and that's all that matters. So
you mentioned big and nasty, and you want that to be a defensive identity. How nasty did that get in the trenches down there?
Oh, it definitely got nasty. I mean, you know, words were said, things were, certain things were exchanged. Even a couple of, physical things were exchanged.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like that's just our identity and who we breed to be. I mean, we did things, we got stops, and we did certain things to put us in position, you know what I'm saying? And to be able to do that as a defense, we know we could pride ourselves on that and understand, like, hey, you're not finna just come in here and think everything is all peaches and cream. So if you want to come in here and try to go against this defense and do things of that nature, by all means, but understand it's gonna be nasty in there. So
I can appreciate that. We're talking to Antonio Simley. We're talking a lot about on the field. I think we got to get to know him a little bit off the field. Give us your background so the listeners out there get to know you a little bit better.
Okay, so from Detroit, Michigan. I played my college ball started off at Saginaw Valley, ended up transferring to Siena Heights University. Greatest experience and probably one of the best things I ever did. And then I went to a bowl game. I got invited to a bowl game. Next thing you know, I was that next May, I was playing for the Billings Outlaws out in Billings, Montana. Won a championship out there. Then the league converted to the AF1 from the AFL. And then last year I was with the Washington Wolfpack. Had a rough year team-wise, but personally had a good year. Got some good film. Made a lot of plays, a lot of memories. And I definitely was searching for a team that I could, find my way and learn and grow with some good players and great coaching, and just, a team that kind of felt homey, you know what I'm saying? Especially being from Michigan, going out west for 2 years, that was kind of crazy for me. I never experienced being around mountains or anything like that ever in my life. So, when I got a chance to go do that, or even just be in out west, it was definitely a good experience. But to be somewhere closer to home, having my family being able to come watch me play football, things like that. I ended up here in Minnesota with the Monsters, and it's been nothing short but great. Like I've worked hard, been able to meet and grow and learn from a lot of great players and coaches, and I mean, I'm just ready to keep balling. That's the biggest thing. Put on for the Monsters and put on for Minnesota. So
I can appreciate that. It sounds like, Dave, everybody wins because Antonio says he was searching for a team. I think we're pretty lucky we found him.
I agree. I think that what you're hearing from Antonio is a future head coach. Like, I'm listening to the answers, and it's not just rah-rah, ziz, boom, bah stuff. I mean, we're actually getting football, and that sounds like a head coach to me. So, Antonio, tell me who you model your game after. Who are the guys that you watch and you say, I want to incorporate that in my game and that in my game?
From a pro standpoint, I watch a lot of Aaron Donald just because I've always been told I had the same kind of build. But if we talking game-wise, specific techniques and things like that, I watch a lot of Jeffrey Simmons just because for the Tennessee Titans, just because, I think he just has a lot of ability as far as like being a stronger defensive tackle. Like obviously Aaron Donald's strong. Like I'm not finna sit here and say my favorite player is not strong. Like that's just never gonna happen. But I know Jeffrey Simmons, like the way he plays with a lot of like stronger techniques, being able to play, an outdoor game from nose to a one tech to a shade to a G to a three tech. Like he can play all around in those areas, and he really hones in on loving playing defensive tackle. And I think I can relate to that because like all my life, like I've been, people try to put me in different spots and different things like that, which I'm capable of doing and I love doing. I just love being on the field. But I know when I get a chance to play my position, D tackle, and I can pick up those techniques like how to two gap or how to be able to, change direction of where the O-lineman is going or different things like that, or how to beat him to a spot, like them type of things. To learn that, especially like with probably the biggest part of the O-line, like what I'm saying, interior wise, like that's what I love to do, and I love being physical in that way. I love practicing that way. I love understanding football and terminology in that way. So I think that's been probably the biggest two biggest guys I watch the most.
You seem very happy to be here. Last question is, you had the home opener last week. What did you think of Duluth? What did you think of Amsoil? What did you think of the volume? And what do we need to do better, be it Saturday night with the Kentucky Barrels being in town? How can Amsoil serve you better, the Duluth fan base serve you better?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank the Duluth fan base for even coming out. In arenas, I've seen arenas where they pretty much empty. I've seen them where they, got a lot of fans, but I think the energy in Amsoil was definitely great. I think it could be greater. Obviously, it always can be better. Nothing's ever just set in stone. But I know for a fact that we can make it better as a team by just coming out and performing for you guys, because I know you guys are going to come out and kill it, and cheer for us and root for us. And shoot, if any fans listening, just come out, support. And I promise you, it's gonna be a good time.
Good long segment. The next one might be shorter, as in Keontay. Stick around. We'll be right back. Back here on Monsters on the Mic, Lyric Kitchen Bar in Duluth. Want to thank them for having us each week that we do this. Got to thank our sponsors too.
Absolutely. We got Comfort Systems of Duluth and Sanju Two Harbors, where the cars are.
Absolutely. And right here at Lyric Kitchen Bar, that's where the monsters are. Want to thank Antonio Simley for a great first segment. And I don't know if he told you this, Keontay Shorter, but he should have basically walked out and said, top that. Because now you've got 2 segments to try to do that. But I'll tell you what, you've been a highlight guy already. You and I were talking before the show started. You think back to that home opener against Nashville, you had one of the better highlights of the game. And I talked to you about, was that one of the easiest highlights you ever got to create? Because as somebody playing in the secondary, that's a dream come true. That ball was right there for you, and so was the rest of the field for your house call.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. That play was just, it was basically just technique. Driving the man and knowing that when I got close, I could look. In the arena game, it's very fast. So when I took that opportunity, I felt like I had a great judge on the man to get there and secure the deflection. But I looked. The ball was there. I grabbed it. I scored.
I was going to say, from my vantage point, that's kind of the same thing that happened to me. You saw the pass in the air, and I went, oh, we've got this covered. And then I looked as the ball was in flight, and I said, there's a lot more than this being covered. He's gone. And it was one of the highlights, certainly, of the game. Now, Dave, last show, we had a Minnesota native during the latter 2 segments. We've got it again. I know with Antonio, we waited a while to talk about his journey, his upbringing, but you being the hashtag one of us, let's start there. Welcome to Duluth by way of Minneapolis.
Yeah. We love Duluth, man. It's also it's amazing to come back and play here. I played at Bemidji State, so we had great games against Duluth. But my time being in Duluth has always been a great time and blessings. So I'm thankful.
You can see the excitement as you talk about it. Let's talk a little bit about what you saw from the opposing quarterback, because Tyler Kulka's played a lot of arena football in Duluth and hadn't done so successfully until that game with Nashville last week. But now coming into this particular game, this is another team with the Barrels that Mr. Overstreet, their quarterback's kind of the headliner. Again, as a guy who's ball hawking, you've got to be drooling at an opportunity.
Oh, yeah, awesome. It's always an awesome opportunity to play against quarterbacks that have been in the league and have notoriety. So it's gonna be a fun one. We're gonna have a amazing night. We're gonna put on a show for our home crowd and rock it.
Talk about the difficulty of your position, because Dave and I talk about the pace of this game, and momentary decisions, right or wrong, can tell a lot about how a play is going to go. Your position is seemingly a now or never idea, because somebody's going to blow by you if you're not careful, or if you win the proverbial chess match, you see the pick sixes like we saw last week.
Man, it's a position that requires patience. It's a lot of patience and quick decisions.
It's like fishing.
Sounds like John Wooden. Be quick, don't hurry.
It's like fishing. You got to be really patient, and then when it's time to set the hook, baby, you got to set the hook.
Yeah, and you know that's always, and that can tie into playing defensive back, fishing. So, but it's a position where repetition matters a lot. So you got to be repping it in practice and being deliberate with your practice and being intentful, because all that you got to create great habits playing defensive back.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying?
So let me ask you a little bit of the chicken or the egg defensive question, because Antonio, Claude, and guys like that are going to want to get to the quarterback in seconds, if that much. At the same time, you want to have shutdown coverage. So there's always the thought of, if something's not going well, is it the guys up front have got to pressure better, or the guys in the back have got to cover better? How do you balance that idea when you've thought maybe you've got your guy covered for long enough and then you don't, or maybe you need to make a quicker read on a ball?
It goes hand in hand. So when we got guys like Antonio and Claude getting to the quarterback faster than usual, it makes everything easier, but also in the game that we playing, the ball comes out fast.
Yeah.
So we in a great situation as defensive backs. In our defensive room, we take pride in being thankful to our D-line, because we know we got amazing D-line. So we just try to, be humble, be thankful, because, like, not all secondaries got the opportunity to play with such a great D-line.
You do have a good group up front, without question. Last week, talking to Phoenix Sproles, we took the wide receiver angle of, in this AF1 league, the ball is live unless it's on the ground, because basically you're playing it off the wall, off the net. The ball's always there for the taking. We talked about wide receivers liking that idea, but knowing they're going to get hit. As a defensive back, you can be the hitter, and the ball's always in play. Do you love playing things off the wall, off the net, etc., or is it all an adjustment no matter what position you're playing?
For sure. It's definitely an adjustment no matter what position you're playing. But it's also could take like being a high flyer. You know what I'm saying? You got to also be a high flyer. And when you see the ball, you can make a play, because the ball is also live when you catch it and go into the stands. That's a highlight play for arena. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's when the fans get interacted. That's amazing. You love it. So it's also being a high flyer, but it's an adjustment.
I'll tell you this. We talk a lot about special teams and what an adventure that is. Finally getting to see it up close and personal at Amsoil a week ago. Special teams, I'm not volunteering for it anytime soon, but it takes a special creature to play special teams in this league.
Ain't that the truth? Last week when we were talking to Sproles, we talked a little bit about wide receivers setting up defensive backs in this league and how it's hard because it's so fast. The flip side is true as well. Sometimes you're baiting quarterbacks because at some point they're going to make that throw that you've been trying to set them up for the whole game. Is that true as a defensive back? Listen, that's great on the outdoor grass, but it's just too quick. Or are you setting guys up so you can make that play later in the game?
Oh man, you hit it right on the nose with waiting, being patient, knowing it. It usually happens by itself. To be honest, the bait happens by itself if you playing the game right. You also can just bait them. But if you just there and even get a deflection, they're gonna be like, I think I can get that one.
Yep.
I think I can throw that ball. Even though I just deflected it, I'm just waiting for you, like, throw it again. You might think you could get it.
Yeah.
But nah, I'm going to get that.
I think he's fishing more often than we realize, because he's baiting everybody on every play.
Absolutely.
So 11 on 11 football is more difficult in many, many ways than anything that anybody else can play in sports. But then you look at Arena and you look at AF1, and I just want to talk to a defensive back about that slot receiver that gets the running start before the ball is snapped. How difficult are they to cover? Because they're full bore before anybody else has done anything.
You get a feel for the game that if you were to go outside and play a stationary, that is different.
Yeah.
You got somebody running full speed on you, getting on
Right.
your toes. You're going to feel comfortable on the outside. You know what I'm saying? But to perfect the middle and the high motion, you become dangerous.
I think that's very fair, and it's dangerous both directions
Yep.
because offensively, we know the Monsters are talented. You get the right guy in space before that ball is snapped, and you're in trouble. You get a defense like ours to guess right, and you get highlight plays like this man made last week as we talked to Keontay Shorter. Dave, I'm going to steal a question from you because
Please, always.
defensive back-wise, this is so much fun to discuss because you and I are a little bit older, and I go to Darryl Green, I go to Dion right away, and I go, those are the DBs that anybody my age would have probably wanted to emulate. But a DB like yourself, who has played here in college as well, when you see NFL players that play your position, who do you want to model your game after, and who do you think you most resemble now?
2 safeties, 2 corners.
Okay.
We got, Tyrann Mathieu,
Yep.
Yeah.
The Honey Badger.
the Honey Badger. We got Ed Reed.
Yep.
And then we got Asante Samuel.
Sure.
Pick
Had some
six.
really, really good years.
And then we got Champ Bailey.
Nice. Who didn't make the cut that maybe should have? I'm thinking, is he old enough to think Brian Dawkins? Do you like to get your nose dirty and make a few big hits now and then? Who's on the outskirt of that secondary you
Tell me
mentioned?
Lester Hayes.
Lester Hayes. No, we'll say.
Still have to Google Lester Hayes. That's
Yes.
not fair.
I'll say 2. I'll say Dion, of course.
Yeah.
But, it's not much film you can to watch. with
Right.
Dion. But I'll say, and then another guy you can't really watch is Night Train Lane.
Yeah.
That's a good
100%.
pull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How come the Detroit native didn't start there? He shrugged his shoulders. Antonio's off air, but still
You said
participating.
he was going to have to Google
Yes.
my guy, and he went with a
He
guy
pulled out Night Train
15
Lane.
years older.
I was going to say, we went a little bit different on the bit here, but that's impressive. Who's the toughest cover you've matched up with, either collegiately or in the Arena League? Who's the wide receiver, not to give them any bulletin board material where you go, oh, Lord, I need to be on my toes because the pace of play is what it is, but who's a guy that you're just thinking, I hate this matchup, but I want to get it?
Man, every cover I'm taking them all the same. I'll take nobody lightly. I don't underestimate anybody. And so I'm gonna say just every cover I take the proper
Respect almost.
respect, but the proper preparation for every single competitor I face.
You want to talk about a cerebral football player, just the amount of thought he put into that.
Yeah,
The wheels were
100%.
turning without question. So I'm going to ask the cliche defensive question. The cliches are cliches for a reason. Better play. Pick 6, which I've seen from you now. Laying somebody out over the middle. A deflection on a ball nobody thought you could get to. But I'm going to assume you've done this in your career at some point. Blitz off the edge, drop the quarterback. What do you prefer and why?
Oh, see, to win this game, defense win championships, offense win games. So as on defense, when we can score and we can help the offense, I would say a defensive touchdown, a pick 6, probably be the best thing you could do.
Dave brought it up earlier. Coach Clark, we've had him on the show a few weeks back. He says, if my team can get me 4 stops, we're going to win. Is that a mantra that he keeps every game? Are you guys basically doing hash marks? Okay, we got 1, we got 2, we got 3, we got 4. It should be over now. Or is it just, hey, we're just going to stop you no matter how many times it takes, and we're going to play? I guess what I'm asking is the 4 stops coach speak, or is the 4 stops something you guys actually have in your mind?
I mean, we are going to preach the 4 stops. We're going to put it in our mind throughout the week, and in the game, we're going to make sure we be deliberate with that. The 4 stops is very big and key, and I think that we all preach that to each other, even at practice. We're being vocal with 4 stops. But in all honesty, we want to exceed that amount. We want to get as many stops as possible past 4 stops. So
Antonio mentioned that things can change from team to team, and we've heard every week for the years that we've done sports shows that everybody watches film to pick up tendencies and tells, what have you. We talk so much in general about this game in itself, how fast it is, how different it is. That's just the game. How different is it really when you watch a Nashville film, a Kentucky film, an Oceanside film? Are there really vast differences between these teams, or it's, man, arena football's turbo? There's really not a lot of adjustments you're going to make based on who you're playing.
Some teams are very tedious with how they run their routes. Some teams don't do certain drop steps. Certain teams probably mix up their drop steps to make it look funky for a defender or a D coordinator or a the defense, period.
This is the eye candy thing.
So it's like when we watching, it's hard to probably be different, but a lot of teams are different. You know what I'm saying? But most of the time you can find identical tells.
See, for me, that was a learning experience because I assumed that, okay, we're going to watch film, we're going to talk about the star player here and the star player here, and those may differ by position, but at the end of the day, this is a track meet / WWE / NFL. How much different could it be?
Everybody runs a drag. They just run it differently, you know.
Or how about the fact that some teams can really run? You can talk a little bit about your offensive teammate. Shannon Brooks was a highlight back last week as well. Finding good running games in a game this fast-paced is pretty rare, too.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my dog Shannon Brooks, breaking free. Yeah, run game. That's a big game too in here, but it's also like it kind of throws you off. You know what I'm saying? They want to throw the ball, but they'll also run the ball. You know what I'm saying? It's not like traditional where like it can be sometimes, but it's traditional where it's like first and second down would be a rundown. You know what I'm saying? And then third and short probably be a rundown as well, but we gonna throw that bit.
Last question. You told me before the show started that you're a graduate of Holy Angels. So as a football player affiliated with Holy Angels,
The Academy.
how many times in your life have you heard about Larry Fitzgerald? And let me do it one more time.
Man, it's awesome to come from Holy Angels, being alumni. We got trophies, we got memorabilia of Larry in the school, so it's always motivation and inspiring to see that when you were walking through the school and when I was walking the halls there.
I appreciate that very much. Go get us a trophy and a ring here for the Minnesota Monsters. Keontay Shorter, that's segment number 2. We got one left. Great guess. Maybe we'll have to split the final segment. Stick around. We'll be right back. Back here once again, Monsters on the mic from Lyric Kitchen Bar in Duluth. Brian Prudhomme, Dave Cook. Again, how we do this, if you're just listening for the first time and would like to make a future show, it's a live recording, which is my favorite contradiction of terms, on a Wednesday night. Come down here 5:30, mingle with the players, have some good food and drink from Lyric Kitchen Bar. We start the recording at 6. We record for an hour, and then you'll hear it Thursday nights at 7 o'clock every week.
You can listen to the recording live.
Absolutely. And then we are the pregame to the pregame, no matter the week, no matter the time. We will be the hour leading up to the game itself, so that should be fun come Saturday when we roll out the barrels of Kentucky.
Well, and really, when you come down on Wednesday and you get to meet the guys, then when you get to hear them talk again, it's not like you're just listening to a player you don't know. Now you've had a chance to meet them, and you heard them live. And so, yeah, head on down Wednesday nights. It's a fun way to break up the week.
It is always a good time. And for me with these two, is we've had 2 great guests already, Antonio Simley and Keontay Shorter. It's a little bit of role reversal because instead of meeting somebody that I get to watch eventually, or they get to hear my voice doing public address, this was the reverse. You guys have heard me already. Now we get to meet a little bit. Mm-hmm. So we want Amsoil to get louder. We want it to be a more ruckus environment here with the barrels in town. But again, with 2 great guests, we couldn't decide who to keep for the extra segment. So we said, you know what? Both.
Yeah, let's break out another headset and let's knock it out for the next 15 minutes or so, Brian.
So we're going to let both defenders chat with us, and I want to talk to you both about, we asked this individually, but I want to know how it works together. Because a good defense communicates well. But we can talk about 11-on-11 football and green dot guy directing traffic for everybody. If a linebacker's blitzing, maybe he's patting the D lineman on the thigh to say, hey, I'm coming this way. There's not time for that. I'm stressing the tempo and the pace of arena football, if you haven't noticed already. There's not a whole lot of time for any of this. What's the communication like between you guys being on 2 different levels of the defense, if you will, pre-snap?
I think for the most part, a lot of it has to do with, communication throughout the week in practice. So, like we actually take time to practice how we're going to communicate things in the game. Also, I think it's just understanding within your specific group the type of communication you want to have. So like, as a D lineman, like I might tell a linebacker, hey, if I do this, it means this. And because like you said, the game's fast paced. It's not time to always, tap a thigh or things like that. But hey, if you see this, understand what I'm going to do here. And the linebacker will know right away in the game, like, okay, I see my D lineman doing this in front of me now. Boom, I can go around, loop around, do what I have to do. So I think just that pre-communication throughout the week and understanding and practicing that communication throughout the week helps us, especially because our back end they have their own set of calls and things like that for coverages, and it's it might be a little different than up front. But if they understand how we're trying to defend up front, and we can understand like, okay, why they have to do certain things in the back end, why they have to play man in this certain formation or do things like that, it helps everybody as a defense understand, okay, we're going to get this stop.
So, Keontay, while Antonio was giving that answer, I watched you nod in agreement the entire time. I want to take the flip side of it. If there's that much communication during the week that really comes to be imperative come game day, how many in-game adjustments are there? Do you see something in the first possession of the first quarter that you go, okay, they're actually not doing it this way, they're doing it this way? How much in-game adjustments happen?
It's always in-game adjustments, We making plays and we letting God call the audibles, you know what I'm saying? But no.
I like that phrase.
No, but really with the D-line in the game, you know how in the week we're communicating, practice is very deliberate, but in the game it's more keep going, we love hyping each other up because that's just going to keep pumping our players up. So when they get to the quarterback, it's just like, bro, we're just telling our teammates great job. And that's keeping their motor high. They got a high motor, so that just helps us.
So, in this league and the speed that they play at, is there even an opportunity to play that quote bend don't break defense? Do you have to be aggressive all the time, or can you play back a little bit and let a team come to you?
I'll say that we play that bend don't break, man. We really slide, man. This is what we do. We love it. So. There's teams who play like that, but we full force, we conditioning. So it's just what our team and our team preaches and our coach preaches. So it's a bend don't break.
Yep.
All I could think of was it's a 50-yard field. What do you mean bend don't break? How much room is there to do that?
Right. Well, we've said it's a quicker game, Brian. You have to bend quicker.
No question about that. So we've talked to, in the history of our radio careers together, we do a show on Saturday mornings where we've talked to former NFL players somewhat regularly, and they've told us about their welcome to the league moment. Arena football has different welcome to the league moments. What's been the biggest surprise to you, or what's a moment where somebody did something that you said, how in the world did they do that? Have there been those moments for you?
It's definitely been those moments. This being my third year, definitely, and then being in the same league for 3 years, first of all, I'm overly blessed to be able to do that. But I would say my welcome to the league moment, my rookie year, coming into arena as a rookie, especially as a D lineman, like, it gets different when it comes to like learning certain things and then understanding like how to kind of play in a phone booth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At the line position, because it's less linemen. But I would say my welcome to the league moment is when we played. I was in Billings. I was playing for the Billings Outlaws. We were playing the Albany Firebirds to get the number 1 seed, which we won, by the way. Got the number 1 seed in that. But we played them, and I played against a guy named Sean Lockett, and he by far one of the strongest human beings I ever played against. I mean, like, I hit him. That was the first player I ever hit and didn't move. Like I hit him, and I was like, this guy's got it. Like
he looked at you and said, "That was cute. What else you got?"
It was definitely disheartening, and it definitely made me be like, I got to change something up. I gotta do some more lifting, more something. Like I gotta be in a different tax bracket because this ain't college no more. So
What about my DB of the day? What do you got for a welcome to the league moment?
I would say just all the making plays off the wall.
Sure.
All the plays off the wall, that's when you become elite in this game, as well, to have that in your arsenal. So, and to have that in the toolbox, that's just it's like a X factor.
It brings a different element, no doubt.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask real quick, with your coaching background, working with the college students and all that, how does somebody who's still playing answer questions like, what do I got to do to get to the next level? What do you see, coach? What can I improve on? How do you answer all those questions? One, not being not that much older than they are, and two, you're playing the game they want to play.
That's a very good question, actually.
Once a day.
Because I think about that. I used to think about that a lot at one point. But the best answer I could give is a couple things. So first thing is understanding that you're where they're trying to get to. So be as real as possible. Like I feel like we can watch as many videos and do interviews or whatever, but it's a lot of real that doesn't come out. So I feel like be real as possible so they understand how real it gets.
Sure.
That's number one. Number two, it's more so like a big brother thing in terms of the age thing. Like, for example, like I got the chance to GA at the college I was at Siena Heights. And a lot of guys would ask me these questions, and for me, it was just like, it's more like a giving back thing. It's more like these are the guys that saw me be great here, and have success here. They just want to know how to keep being successful, whether that's in life or just if they want to pursue pro football as well. So it's also like, just understanding like, okay, there's moments I can be a coach, but there's moments I can be a big brother as well. So. Just having that opportunity to just sit down with some guys and tell them, like, there's things about, like certain things I talk to them about are like professionalism. Like that's the biggest thing. Like not everybody knows how to be a pro. Not everybody can articulate how to be a pro. Not everybody can understand what being a pro means off the field, on the field, like controlling your emotions, being able to handle losses, traveling, like all that type of stuff is just being prepared. And I think that's a lot of my conversations with those guys, just helping them understand, like, this isn't college where, you can go goof off and then because you're the best guy on the team, coach is like, oh, just come on. Like, nah, like it's one of those like, hey, we got a schedule. If you can't adhere by it, then we can find somebody else to do it. You know, so it's one of those like, it's more cutthroat. So I have to really help them understand like how cutthroat it is and how it can benefit them, and as well as ways it can hurt them. So it's just being real at the end of the day and just helping them understand like this is not your everyday life.
Yeah. So I want to piggyback off that because I think that's a wonderful answer, but I want to personalize it for both of you. So who was the coach that was most real or most influential for you in your career to this point?
Like career as a whole, or
you can go back to Pop Warner if you'd like.
I would say career as a whole. So I have two. I have a coach that was my D-line coach in college. His name was Isaiah Newsom. Like he always kept it real and honest with me. And then just like the belief part that he gave me, like he gave me so much belief in myself, like even more than I had in myself at certain times, that allowed me to just say, look, I'm a dog too. They got to show me I'm not one, So it was just like that type of belief, and just all the real and personable things we got to like talk and share about. That was definitely a guy. Also, I had a coach in college. His name was Coach Oz. He was actually a DB coach for us, but he was also our strength coach too. So he would, he works with a lot of. He's had the chance to work with a lot of professional coaches in other realms of football, but he was so intentional. Like he taught me how to be intentional with not only just football things or myself, but just life in general. Like certain things have meaning, and the way you carry yourself, the way you present yourself, and how you do anything is how you do everything. So just those little things have always stuck with me because I understand now, like, literally how you do anything is how you do everything. And, first impressions mean a lot. He taught me this from the smallest stuff, like being in games and learning about breathing. Like he taught me like, yeah, you get like when you get to the sideline, don't talk. Like, and I'm like, why? Like, and he like, cause you wasting breath, you wasting energy. Like, just focus on your breathing so you can go back out and play the next play. And I'm like, okay, but then it started becoming a habit.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, okay, I can't always be in certain moments I can't be rah-rah because I know I got another series to go out for and it's going to be long and, or I got to go do a special team.
The things you don't think about.
Yeah, so it's like he really taught me how to understand the things that I wouldn't normally be, necessarily in thought about or, perceiving, so to say. So
The
I
game
feel like
beyond
that
the
was,
game.
I feel like that was a big help too.
That's very well said. What about you? What coaches made an influence on you?
I'll say Juice Bish. That was my D coordinator at Bemidji State. He just showed me like being very like a student of the game.
Okay.
He was a student while being a coach.
Oh, wow.
So honestly,
Sounds familiar, right?
he was very like detailed and he showed me different parts of the game that honestly is built and helped my game to this day. So
All right, so I want to give you guys both the floor for this reason. Now, the purpose essentially of this show, Monsters on the Mic, is to continually promote the Monsters as a team, generate more interest in this organization for Duluth and beyond. Mm-hmm. The idea behind that is to promote the AF1 and promote this game. If you guys were to describe to our fan base or to people who will hopefully become part of the fan base what they should expect and why they should want to watch this, what do you say? Give me your best 30 to 60-second commercial, if you
here's
will,
your elevator
for the league. Yes.
Look, man, when it comes to AF1 football, it's hard-hitting, it's personable, and it's loud, and it's everything you want in football right inside of one arena. So, if you're able to get a chance to come out and support whatever team is local, hopefully it's the Monsters, definitely come out because it's an experience that a lot of people didn't get to have. And I believe that we got the best arena league in the world. So at the end of the day, come out if you want to see something personable, high flying, people flying over the wall, physicality, the whole nine. So,
Well said. Your turn.
I would say come watch the show. Let's get a arena packed out, a nice filled out arena, and let's get that environment going and electricity flowing.
Antonio Simley, Keontay Shorter. This has been a lot of fun. We appreciate you guys.
no, we appreciate you, man, for sure. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Duluth, let's have some fun Saturday. Round of applause for these guys. That'll do it for Monsters on the Mic. We'll talk to you again next week.